Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to XRS Plus, the official podcast for X Racing Series. It's been a while, but we are back. Bit of a different background for myself. I know it's a bit boring over here, we'll talk about that in a second. But I am over here in uni now, hence I've been away from the comms, away from the podcast. A lot of people have been asking. We are back with the face cam. It's going to be a good video, so I'll make it up to all of you. I'm joined by someone who it's been even longer since they've been out the game of commentating and podcasting. But he is finally back. I've managed to drag him away from his Ferrari duties, and he's now back in the podcast with me. It is the GOAT. It is the man, the myth, the legend, Raven West. How are we doing?
How are we all doing, fellas? It is good to be back. I'm looking forward to getting on with another episode of podcast, just like old times, just like old sake. Talking about usual things, though, on what episode to come back on, which is a predictions video. Get to talk about all the drivers, all the teams, our top threes, our overalls, all those kind of things in between. I'm looking forward to talking about you. If you don't get mentioned by me, that just means I haven't seen enough of you yet. But this is what this season's all about, is to get on the radar, hopefully some new champions, some new names on the grid, a lot of things to talk about, some new TPs. It's a new season, a new calendar, not yet to be revealed at time of recording, probably will be by time of upload. So keep that in mind. For anything, maybe you don't get any specifics in terms of that, but yeah, no, I'm very much looking forward to getting on with this episode.
Yes, it's going to be good fun. I mean, obviously, during last season, we hit 400 members. Looking at the seats, obviously, it's very evident the team principals have been scouting other leagues. It's great to see so many new faces in the seats. I'm really excited to see what they can cook up over the season. It's going to be very good. As you presumably know from watching watching predictions, me and Raven get a bit harsh, a bit strict sometimes. Obviously, don't take it personally. We are basically we're giving us our predictions, our opinions, stuff like that. If you want to ping us after this and say, I can't believe you put me last, can't believe you put me fifth, this is awful, then absolutely ping us at the end of the season once you've won the title. Let us know, prove us wrong. That's what we like to see.
Hold on.
Oh,
this is Avi's idea. Go pinging him. This is his problem. I get enough pings in my days as it is. I'm not letting him invite more ping on me. You are wishing a lot of messages, my friend. You can keep hold of them.
Yes, if I place you somewhere that you don't think you should be, ping me and say hold my beer, and at the end of the season I want to see you P1, P2, wherever much above where I put you. I accept the constant pings, it's fine. I'll turn my phone off after this gets recorded. Yes, so for those of you who are new faces to the league, how predictions work, we do them every single season. We predict the top three in all 5 divisions in the Drivers' Championship. We predict the winner of who we think is going to win the Constructors' Championship in that division. And then we go literally 10th to 1st in the OCC, talk about every single team. We're going to be talking about as many drivers as we can on the grid. Of course, there's 100, so it's difficult. We're going to be mentioning as many names as we can. We want to talk about you. You guys are the reason this league is so fantastic. So I think it's definitely worth a mention, a lot of you, and your accomplishments over the last 3 seasons. But yes, for sure, this is going to be a really exciting season. I mean, everybody's contract ran out. Literally, I think there was like 9, including TPs. There was like 9 people who remained in their seat. So this is going to be this has been a fantastic window, I think. But what do you think?
Oh, it's been sensational. So many transfers, so many signings, and all 100 seats filled, full time, ready to go for next season. Or couldn't be in a better position. I'm so excited for this one. It's looking like a really, really good season, probably our best one yet. And the only thing we do know right now, it's a 16 race calendar next season, so plenty of chances for it to chop, change, and turn. Mid-season will be really important. And come mid-season, it'll probably be a very different looking grid than it is right now. So in terms of just like even the values of the drivers and the kind of their shall we say expectations or their reputation, that's what I was looking for in the league. I think it's going to be all changing and chopping and diving, so I'm looking forward to see how it just evolves and continues to change.
Yeah, it's been great to see. We've got, like I said, 100 drivers in these seats. Even if you just look at the reserve list, we've got a lot of drivers just on standby who could definitely pose a threat to some of the top drivers in that division. So I think it's going to be really exciting to see where this championship goes. Definitely, at least for me, I don't know about you, the hardest predictions to write. I've got the list here. I'm not secure on any of them. I genuinely could go any way.
I agree. It's madness.
Absolutely. Let us know in the comments what you think is going to be the predictions for all of the divisions, all of the OCC positions and all, and we'll see who is the most correct. I'm hoping it'll be one of us two. Hopefully me. But we'll find out. We'll find out. Should we begin? Would you like to begin at the top or the bottom?
Let's start at the bottom.
Righty. We start with the Wednesday division. We start with Division 5, Raven West. Who is finishing P3 in the driver's standings?
So I've been thinking about it, and I've been tossing and turning,
Okay.
and there's some very good names in there. So obviously Walker and Throne Globe were in the title fight last season. It came down to them to the wires at the very end. We got some drivers coming down like Jace. We got some new drivers coming in like Kevin and Alamata. Alamata coming down and Kevin being a new driver. There's a couple of new names in there as well, like Panda, Righty, Legend of Toff. There's a few more reserves as well knocking around, and a few other drivers. There's a few people in there that could really surprise and upset people. Amaron is another one who seems really like he's got big aspirations this season. But I think number 3 will be Kevin VN. I saw good driving from him last season. I saw a couple of moments of real speedy pace. He obviously had that race in Bahrain reserving for myself where he came in clutch. And there's a few mistakes in there still, but I think he's definitely a candidate for the top 3.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, for sure. I'll tell you what, I've got my list of my top 3, and then I've got like in brackets of people that like I have to like sit here racking my brain, to figure out. I won't go through them now, obviously, because that will ruin it. But P3, I have disagreed with you. I've gone with someone else. I've gone for a bit of a rogue choice, a bit of a dark horse potentially. I've gone Pistol Peter. I think under Pistol Peter was Div 4. He got moved down, I think, mid-season last season, right? And he took off. He was very quick in that division, and it began to just level off in a sense. And that's not the first time we've seen that in a VCARB. Not just him, but other drivers, where they've been brought into the team, they have just chopped off a little bit. He's across the Mercedes now. He's got an incredibly capable teammate in a team that looks quite strong. I mean, this is probably the strongest Mercedes we've seen so far in XRS. I don't know what the development like is there, but if it's strong, I think that if they can really pull the maximum amount of output from Pistol Peter, I think it could potentially pose a championship fight. But I've put P3. I think he's got a lot of potential. So I'm going to say Pistol Peter for P3.
Not bad at all.
What about P2 for yourself?
So P2, I've gone for someone who's coming down from the division. I think someone who has, again, we've seen a lot of pace from them before, and maybe they've run off a little bit of a cliff. Again, though they happen to have connections to VCARB, we'll let that just say what it says. But Jace, I think, is going to be a real threat next season in this division. I really do think. Yeah. I think he's going to be one of the ones in the title fight. I think Throne is capable of being in the title fight again, but I'll tell you now, I don't think it's going to be him between the two McLarens that are going to be really in the running at the top this season. I think he's going to be more of a second driver to that Jace. If Jace finds his feet again, I think Throne might find himself in more of a supportive role this season.
Fair enough. I was looking at Jace, but I tell you what, and it is no disrespect to Jace, of course, but I was overlooking what we've seen previously. For example, the example that came up to me was Blake. So if you remember the Blake situation where he was, after he won the title in Season 1, he got moved up to Division 3, which he couldn't do the day. And then for Season 3, he got brought back down to Division 4. And a lot of people said, oh, he's only in Division 4 because he can do the day, so he can race again. And I said, no, I think he's off the pace. And what was that? I was spot on. I mean, Blake was pretty mid in that division after getting moved down. For me, the hype of Jace going down division, yes, he's been strong in higher divisions, but this is his second relegation back-to-back seasons. He was Division 3 before this. I think there's a knock of confidence there. I can't logically in my head say Jace can be top 3 when this is, again, him moving down division. So I want to see something from him first. I haven't put him in my top 3. But that's what I think. My P2 is a driver who I actually don't think is P2 in pace, but he's got a level of consistency that in Division 5 showed itself last season that that it's going to get him fantastic places, just constantly being there. I've gone for Walker for P2. Okay. I love Walker. I've got a great relationship with him. I enjoyed him a lot last season. I think it's fair to say he's not the second fastest driver in that division, but he's such a fantastic driver in terms of consistency. He's probably in terms of skill up there because he's always there. He's always constantly putting pressure on the top 5. Will it win him the title this season? I don't know. It's a really good division. There's so many names that could have popped their way into this top fight. I don't know if Walker grabs it, but I think he'll definitely be up in the fight, and I'll put him P2. But what about you? Your title, yeah. God, what do you think about Walker? Is he your P1 discussion?
So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I feel like either of my 2 drivers are capable of winning it in Div 5.
I absolutely agree with you.
I feel like if it comes down to one of them having to pick for it and push for it, I will probably go for Brownis simply because Walker won it last season. You will know this yourself, Avi. This is something that I've done before in other divisions. When two drivers are going back to back, I will go for the driver who hasn't won it last season, who maybe played a supportive role. Will have played a supportive role in doing so for the other driver. So it would just be I was seeing Walker return the favour this season. So that's the only reason I haven't done it. But I feel like it will be Walker and Brownis fighting for P1 in the end. And I've got a guess for who you put, right? And if it's if you put who P1 who I think you put, I've got something to say about that. But
okay.
I put Brownis down for my champion this season, and that's only if it comes down to if I have to separate them. If I don't have to separate them, I think Walker has got the consistency to do it again. I think Brownis is slightly quicker, slightly less consistent. I think if Brownis gets his consistency on point, I feel like he's going to get the support from the team, and he's going to be champion for me this season.
That's really interesting because before I say my P1, I absolutely agree with you. I do think Brownis could win this championship. What we saw last season, unfortunately, was just such a lack of consistency. I mean, he spun on his own, unforced errors, too many times for me to genuinely consider him as a title threat. Ironing those issues away, absolutely. In fact, that could be one of the most dominating championships. But I don't know what work you're doing with him in Ferrari. If he's able to iron out those issues, absolutely. But I've not put him as P1 because I, as a now non-Ferrari driver, hasn't seen that. All I've seen was from last season, and so I haven't put him. I'm not confident. I want to change it. Right, my P1. My P1, I'm reasonably confident. I want to change my 2 and 3. My P1, and I've seen how much work is going into him, and I think he was brought back by a lack of logical strategy last season. I think under new teams with the development plan this team has, I think he's going to be a serious threat. I'm for Throne Globe. I think Throne's going to win it. I think he's got the pace. I think with the development in McLaren, I think he's going to have the consistency to be up at the front all the time. So I'm going to say Throne. But
so that's who I knew you were going to say. First of all, the McLaren bias is crazy. First of all, the McLaren bias is crazy. But second of all,
I've seen potential in that boy. I've seen potential in him. I do think he's going to do good. I do agree. I will say that I do agree with you. If Brownis irons out the inconsistency issues, he wins it. Absolutely agree with you. But I haven't put him top 3 because I also and
this is no disrespect to Throne Globe, but
yeah.
his pace didn't change or fluctuate throughout the season. It leveled off, and yes, there was times where decisions and strategies could have maybe helped him and put him in better positions.
Yeah,
but Walker only got better and better and better and better and better, and still missed the final round and won it without even racing. That progress is still continuing. He's still finding that the same amount of time, the same rates. He's only going to round that up another level, and there's other drivers now that Throne has to compete with, because it was only really ever Walker or Brownis that he was really racing with next season. Like at any there was a few times where there was a few races where he was in it, but like for a lot of time it was him pulling away, and I feel like he's not going to have that freedom anymore. And I don't know if he's got the not the racecraft in the sense of he's a bad dirty driver in the sense, but the racecraft of just racing around other drivers without losing the time the same way that maybe Walker has. And I think that's going to be an even more of a crucial factor this season. And I feel like his wheel-to-wheel racing and his efficiency in his wheel-to-wheel racing, if that makes sense, I think is where it's going to maybe let him down his times. And I think he might go for one move on someone and lose a place to the car behind going for the move. And I think there's going to be a few situations like this maybe that Throne might find himself in. So I'm not sure. I'm open to being proven wrong, but I feel like the I can see that plateau that he's on throughout the season, and I can see the rest of the season catching up to him and overtaking him a little bit. That's what I see.
Yeah. I do agree with you. I think watching Walker's development over his time in Ferrari has been unbelievable. Right now, Walker, in terms of pace, will probably beat Throne. But basing off the fact that, I guess there's a level of bias because I'm in the team, but seeing how much time has been put into Throne Globe, and if he can match that progression of Walker, I think he takes it, but it's going to be close. It's going to be close. But I've lent towards Throne. On to, and also I would want to mention, by the way, because this division is so stacked, like there's so many names in here. First of all, ABT Michael absolutely could be top 3. That's
sure.
He's a very consistent driver from last season. The other one I wanted to mention was Alamata. Absolutely could be up there. I just don't trust that VCarb can pull anything out of anyone. So I don't know. But Alamata's a very consistent driver. Can absolutely be up there. The only one I wanted to mention was Peekaboo. I've gone for a strategy. I think he's going to get moved up. So I've gone for a strategy of not putting him in my top 3 because I think he's going to be a bit too quick. So that's why I've put him top 3. Is that the same as you?
Maybe. But we'll see.
He doesn't mean you're going to get moved up. Don't worry. Like, you know.
No, absolutely not. No. Yeah, this is more for the game of the points that me and him are keeping for predictions. But I think he's a fantastic driver, and if there's no reason to move him up, there's no reason to move him up. If there is, there is. But it's not something we have a plan for happening. I just see it. If anyone's going to get moved up, it's going to be him, and I don't want that to happen. And for my point score, so that's the Peekaboo's going to be up there as well. There's a top 6 more than there was a top 4 last season, so it's it's 2 extra drivers, maybe even a top 8 in some cases. So I'm looking forward to that, like, really developing throughout the season. That's a very interesting Div 5.
Yes. And then finally, with Division 5, Constructors. I imagine me and you've gone for the same one, but go for it.
I've gone for Ferrari.
Absolutely agree.
I like it's again, if Walker's going to be Mr. Consistent, Browners is going to be Mr. Speedy. I think together, if they can get a little bit of one from each other, then it's going to be a good team. I think McLaren's going to be the team fighting for it the most, and then maybe VCarb are going to be in their third. But I think it's one of my strongest divisions. So I'm going to go for defending the title.
I'm actually going to disagree with you there. I don't think it's going to be McLaren fighting them there. I think it's going to be VCarb and Merc. I think McLaren are number 4. It comes the unbiased side of me. I think, in my opinion, VCarb and Mercedes, especially Mercedes, have very good lineups in Div 5. But I just don't think they're going to find maximum out of it. I think every ounce of pace from Walker and Brownson will be found, and I think that's why they're going to win it. That's why they won it last season as well. Not to say that they're slower. They're 2 very capable drivers, but I just don't think that Mercedes and VCarb are going to be able to match it. Because I think Ferrari, that lineup, especially after winning Constructors last season, they're going to be on it. They know what their target is this season as well. They can win it again. So that's why I'm saying those 2. It's going to take it. But good, at least we agreed on one thing. At least we agreed on one out of the 4.
Got there in the end.
Right, we move forward one day on to the Thursday division, Division 4. It just doesn't get easier. It's just as close. You know what I mean?
This one actually, I think I struggled with the most. I think I struggled with this one the most, to be honest.
Yeah.
This one sucked.
I agree with you there. This one really sucked. Yeah. Like I said, I've thrown a couple of dark horses in there. Shall I go first for this one?
Yeah, go for it.
P3, and I changed this literally last minute. P3. And it kind of goes back on everything I said about VCarb. I've gone for Cajun. For Cajun One Eye. I think, and I'm begging, because VCarb, and I've said this so many times, they've got a knack of bringing drivers in, and then the second they touch that car, they become completely useless. I would argue it kind of happened to Cajun this season when he came over from Aston Martin. It happened to Boomboy in Season 1, happened to Rosman in Season 1. I'd argue it's happened to a couple others. I don't understand, right? The only person who's got away from the VCarb curse is Liam, who went into that car and did very well. The rest of them, I don't understand what it is about VCarb, where they just get into the car and become half their pace. Cajun has that pace. Cajun's got a fantastic quality pace. If he matches that with consistency, I don't think he wins the title, but I think he's up there. He's always turns up for races, so attendance won't be an issue. But go on.
I will say, in an entirely different division, Reese did find pace in the VCOP. He was quick in that VCOP.
Oh,
season 1.
yeah, but I'm saying he didn't. I'm saying VCOP have bought people, as in they've come from a different team, and then they've lost their pace. Whereas VCOP, he started in VCOP. So I'm not saying VCOP can't have fast drivers. I mean, they've got very capable drivers, but whenever they come from another team, they always seem to do rubbish, other than Liam. So
interesting to see how the Champers do this season. Now you said that, interesting to see how the Champers.
I mean,
they've got a lot of new drivers in that lineup.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it happened with Cajun. Cajun was in Aston Martin. He was doing incredibly well. Went into the VCARB and started qualifying 14th. You know, the pace is there from Cajun, and the attendance is an issue. I reckon he's going to do well if he can home it in. But yes, go on. P3.
Okay.
You made a face, so I'm going to assume it's not Cajun. So I'm excited about this.
Yeah, no, it's not Cajun, or Cajun, or whatever. I've gone for a man that I always don't want to say it because it's going to be mentioned to me now every single day until the season.
Oh
over.
No, I know it's going to. Oh no, you're opening this can of worms. I know you're going to say. I want no part of this, by the way. I know exactly what you're going to say.
I'm going to say Pink.
I knew it.
I'm going to. Listen.
Oh, I can hear his voice already. I can hear him. What, Raymond? Oh no.
That's so mean. I think Pink might be up there this season. I feel like if he can iron out some of his inconsistencies, he had good moments in Mercedes. I think he genuinely probably can be up there this season. I think he's obviously got the teammate he really wants. Lord only knows them to get on well. It's I'm looking forward to seeing how it evolves on track. I certainly hope we don't get a Lewis Rosberg moment going on there between them two. But it's
Oh God.
an interesting relationship, but I hopefully a good one on track. But I feel like I'm going to put Pink in there for my P3. I don't know if he's got all the inconsistencies ironed out. I think there's other drivers who may be a little bit more consistent, who maybe will push him through to a tough time, but I think he's definitely going to win some races this season. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that evolves.
Yeah. Fair enough. P2. I don't think there's a dark horse. I think he's one that's kind of like, he doesn't potentially overshadowed because it was Jamie. His teammate was Jamie. But I do think he's got a lot of pace and he's going to be very good. I've gone for Alpine's Vaxi. I think he's a very capable driver. He was up there, not necessarily matching Jamie, because Jamie at the end of the season was a different beast. But he was up there matching with the front runners. Now Jamie's gone. Especially also with Alpine, there's so much talk this window about Alpine and their development. I think Snowy's a very capable TP. To my knowledge, Vaxi's on a controller. That's going to really help him out in terms of development. I don't know if he wins it, but I think he will definitely be up there. Alpine's made a very good signing there. I think Vaxi's going to be PC. I don't know what to say, but go on. What do you think?
An interesting one. I'm just agreeing with your P2 spot, as you'll be probably surprised to hear. I've actually gone for Tiger in for P2.
Yeah, fair enough.
I feel like a consistent driver. Obviously now running a TP, there is a different element when you're running a team and driving. There's a different kind of ball game where you've got to worry about other people's results as well as your own. But I feel like he's going to maybe settle into that World Cup rally. It's been something he's been looking for a long time. I'm looking forward to seeing how that kind of merges and evolves of itself. But I definitely think that the Tiger's definitely one that's going to be in there. A consistent driver, good pace. No reason why he can't be there.
Fair enough. P1. I mean, you're basing my
I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna jump in there and say your P2 is my P1.
Wow!
I put
okay,
Vaxi.
go for it. Yeah, take the floor.
I put Vaxi as the. I think, as you said, yes.
Fair enough.
Maybe overshadowed a little bit by Jamie and his performances, but I think a very solid driver. I think probably one of the quickest drivers, probably one of the most aggressive drivers as well, in the right kind of way for next season. I'm looking very much forward to seeing how he actually takes maybe to more of a centre stage role in the team now. Obviously, he's moved teams, gone to Alpine, who are doing a lot of good things in that team. So Snowy would be a great mentor and a great coach, I'm sure. So I really think there's going to be some good things to come from Vaxi potentially. I'm looking forward to it. And I think that if Alpine are going to snatch any trophies or any silverware this season, I think it's going to be in Div 4.
Fair. Yeah, I think when you're quite a quiet person in general chat, we don't see Vaxi pop up too often. I think you kind of go under the radar as being not necessarily underrated, but just not really noticed. Vaxi had a good season last season. He came in at China, which was round 2, I think, and I think it was round 2. I was just going to checking my knowledge. It was round 2, yes, and he and from there he's done quite well. I think he'll absolutely be up there. I've not put him as my P1 though. Based on my reaction earlier, I have put my P1 as someone else. I do agree. He's not got the build of a champion right now. I agree, but I think over the season he will develop it. I have gone for Pink as a champion. I have gone for Pink. I've gone for Pink. Now look, bro, Pink. I swear to God, if you let me down now, it's been so much chat. Build up of this season. Oh, easy championship. There's no chance. Easy championship. If he lets me down, I swear to God. I don't think Pink has the build of a champion right now. With the consistency in the pace. I think that'll be developed over the season. He might not lead it from round 1, but I think he'll lead it from mid-season. Yeah, I think he's got it. It's such a close division. Like, it really could go a lot of different ways. But I am going to lean towards Pink. But you disagree. I mean, you put him top 3, so I mean, it's something.
He's going to be up there. I don't really think, like you said, I don't think he's got that kind of championship build, maybe to say the least.
I agree with you. I think Vaxi does. I agree with you. I think Vaxi does. He does. I would like to mention Mike again. Honorable mentions that I nearly put in. First of all, Cristela. Different routes you could take from this one. I can't lie, I think she wins it. But I cannot trust her activity. So, and even then, even if we can't trust her activity, she might actually get moved up. There's also that threat. So, I haven't put her top 3 just for those 2 bases. My original P3 was Xavier, and I switched him for his teammate Cajun. Xavier was really, really comfortable in that division. Back when Wiffle was his teammate, Wiffle left, Cajun came in, and he's been closest to the bag. So I don't know. Again, that's a kind of shot in the dark. I think I back Cajun a bit higher. Nicholas as well. Nicholas is probably the quickest on pace, but he's a bit of a corb. If you know what a bit of a corb is, he's quick for 1 lap, but lap 2, I mean, that's a whole new challenge. So Nicholas, I'm not too sure. And the other one I wanted to talk about was Cheese God. And I'm going to maybe I'll sound harsh saying this, but I'm going to be completely honest. Cheese God, ignoring Benjo because he wasn't supposed to be in Div 4, including Jamie, including Kalik, I think the Cheese God could be the fastest Div 4 we've ever had in XRS. Again, disregarding Benjo because he wasn't supposed to be there. The unlockable pace, the development that could be found in Cheese God, I genuinely believe he could be the best Div 4 we've ever had. But he just has this inability to unlock this pace. Let's not forget, Season 1, he was causing me and Mill issues. Mill's now mid of Division 2. I won the championship that season. He was causing us issues. He's now in Division 4. The unlockable pace is just massive, but I'm just not seeing that from him. I do think that I think that Cheese God wins the championship if he's able to find that pace. I'll be honest, the second he finds that pace, he gets moved up next season. Because there's so much there. There's so much potential there, but I'm not seeing it being found straight away. Or maybe found a bit too late.
Yeah. He's raced me. He's raced me in divisions in previous games. But he has raced me before, and there's a lot that could be found there. But there's something about there's like a mental block almost with him. So it'll be interesting if he can overcome it. Interesting to see how he gets on at McLaren. I'm very interested to see how that relationship develops. To be honest, I think it's gonna be an interesting one. I see. I did get a window into his dynamic because he was part of my academy team for a small period of time, so I've seen an insight into it. So I'm just interested to see how it progresses and how it changes. But yeah, until then, it's going to be interesting to see.
I'll give everyone backstory if they don't know. Pink and Cheese God have been teammates before in Division 3 in Alfa Romeo. It's not like they were just good. They won the Constructors. They beat me and won the Constructors in that division. They're now in the division below and teammates. I mean, I think Cheese God could genuinely be disgraceful in that division. but he needs to find that pace. He needs to find that drive in himself to find it. And when we see that, goodness me, it's a long day. It's a long day for Division 4. I truly believe it. I think he knocks Pink off this high pedestal that everyone's put him on as McLaren top driver. But yes, constructors, Mr. Raven West, what do we put for constructors in Division 4?
So I again had a tough time. There's a couple of things to consider at all times when going for constructors. I have, however, gone for McLaren. I feel like they can do a repeat of the Alfa Romeo achievement. I feel like both of them have so much pace to unlock.
Yes, absolutely.
Both of them have won a division higher up before.
Yep.
So yeah, I think there's definitely going to be a strength to be found in the McLaren Div 4, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we've gone for 2 for 2. I absolutely agree. I think McLaren, that's a really, really strong division. I don't know if necessarily they lead it from round 1 again, as I said, but unlockable pace over the season, the development, I think they will get to that point by mid-season, and they'll lead it from the end. So yeah, McLaren, cool. We move on to Division 3, my division, and I don't know if it's been released yet. Probably, actually, at the time of this releasing, it probably hasn't been released yet. But I'm a little. I won't say what happened in the video. It was when me and Mill were reacting to our predictions from season 3. All I'm going to say is I'm a bit afraid of putting myself top 3 because it was a little bit upsetting considering I didn't finish top 3 this season, and I went on a bit of an ego rant in the video just for me to finish 5th. So yeah, there's that. So yes, Division 3, Raven P3. What are we saying?
So I've gone for a bit of an interesting one, and to be honest, my top 3 are kind of in any order. They can, I think it's going to be, they can kind of interchange here. I've just kind of, okay. I've had to roll the dice on who I think both has the experience, the ability, and the racecraft to kind of really be the one to actually step between the two. My P3, I've gone for Jamie, coming up obviously from Div 4, but I think a driver that's developing and growing a lot as a driver over the last season. Obviously he's come to a new team which has a lot of backing in it and a lot of foundations in Ferrari. He's also come across with the guy who has been training him and coaching him with Asteroid, who his previous TP is. So both those drivers coming over to the same team. Jamie can keep a very familiar environment while being in potentially an even stronger one than he was before. So there's good things there for sure for both those drivers. I feel like Jamie's going to find his stride in Div 3 pretty quickly, but there is going to be a settlement period, so which is why I've gone for 3rd instead of maybe 2nd or 1st.
Fair. I was very close to putting Jamie in my P3, but I didn't in the end. I've gone against it. My P3, I've gone for Mosmegan. I think, we know, everyone knows who he is. Mercedes TP nearly won the championship in Division 2. In this game, obviously, he's come down a division, and he's not been the most fantastic in Division 3 so far. But the pace is there, and we know it is. I think with a fresh season, he hasn't started a season in Division 3 yet. But a fresh season, I think he's going to take off quite quickly. I think he's going to be a real threat with the front boys. So I'm going to say Mosmegan. I've actually changed again, last minute change for a 3rd place. So I've gone for that. P2, what do you think?
P2, I've gone for a bit of an interesting one again. And this is very dependent on this driver sorting out a little bit of an issue I think he has. I've gone for a driver that kind of needs to learn how to relax almost actually on track. I've gone for Whiffle.
No. Yeah.
Hear me out. Whiffle's a very capable driver, very quick. Whiffle's sat and raced with me in other leagues and other divisions, and I'm obviously in Division 2. I think Whiffle's perfectly capable of actually doing what he needs to do. The problem is he is in a VCOB, and his current problem he has is maybe his temperament and patience on track. And yeah. I feel like those two drivers don't tend to get more patient at VCOB. That's something that I will maybe say as well. Yeah. But if he can work on that on his own and realize that it's not sometimes worth going for the moves that he goes for, or you don't need to be Verstappen every race to get good results, or not every race is a chance for a TikTok edit. I think if he can kind of settle down a little bit more into rhythms and just pick his timing a wee bit better and just go for something that a little bit simpler moves sometimes, I feel like his consistency is going to pick back up again. He's not going to get as many pens, he's going to have more enjoyable races, and then he's going to get settled more into rhythm and actually, I think, then maybe push for that in the top 5 a lot. But he's got the pace too. He's 100% got the pace too. It's just the temperament and the consistency that he needs to work on. So, but I think if he can get that down, he's up there.
Yeah, you exactly echo my thoughts. He's absolutely got the pace to do it. He has, racing against him, he's a bit of a Verstappen. He will stick his nose into kind of unretrievable areas. It leaves you thinking, what was your plan on the exit, the corner here? Yes, fair enough, the entry you've stuck your nose in. What do you think was going to happen on the exit? Is the question. Where are you going here? The reason I haven't put in my top 3 is because I don't think V-Carb's going to teach him that. I don't think anything's going to change.
That's fair enough, to be honest.
You know what I mean? Like, he might work it out on his own, fair enough, but I don't think he will. I mean, maybe he's worked it out from us talking about it. Into round 1,
maybe this is
maybe inside of turn 1. So I'm going to say, I'm predicting 3 penalty points into turn 1. Whiffle.
Yeah, well, we'll see by the end of round 1 what if that prediction is going to come true to me at all. But Whiffle, there's points on the line now, my brother. I need you to shape up and behave yourself.
Yes, shape up because you might actually take up one of my drivers, and that's not good. P2, I've gone for a bit of a rogue one, but I think, again, not too active in general chat, which is why I think he goes underrated. I've gone More Leader. Very, very quick driver. I think More Leader is actually one of the most underrated. Always there at the front, always causing issues. I think that Alpine have got themselves a good driver there, for sure. And it's good that they jumped on him first, because they got him for 30 mil when he joined the league. It was an absolute bargain. I think he gets P2. Not much more to say.
I can see that. Yeah. I can see that. Definitely an interesting one to go for. Some good results early on as well, as you said. So there's definitely a drive there.
Yeah.
Settling into a full-time rhythm and getting into the swing of things for championship is a different game as well. So we'll interested to see if they can get into that kind of rhythm. But yeah, P1 then. P1 for your Div 3 drivers winner. I reckon. Rani Ransdale is going to maybe be the one to get it this season. I think he's going to sneak in there. I know you're going to say it as well. Maybe I wanted to agree with you on one, because I know you and your McLaren bias is going to be saying, "Oh, here's another McLaren driver in my P1," but this is one that they'll actually win.
God, I have actually put McLaren for all 3 in P1, haven't I? Oh, that's awful. Oh God, I'm not happy now. I didn't even realise I have put McLaren P1. Oh, you know what? Pink. I know. Bun it. Vaxi wins Div 4. Pink. He's going to come last. I've just realised, yeah. I was looking at constructors because I haven't put McLaren for all the constructors. I put Ferrari into Div 5 and whatever else I'm going to put for the future ones. I've actually put McLaren for P1 in those previous 3. Oh, it's horrible. No. God.
You fool.
God. Well, actually,
let me guess. Cintium's going to win Div 2 and Tsushiba's going to win Div 1, yeah? Let me guess. I was going to do the prediction. Yeah.
Actually,
okay.
mate, I haven't put that, funnily enough. P1 in Division 3, I'm giving it to Turbo Tycho.
Okay. Interesting one to go for. That's a...
Yeah, I'm joking.
It's a bold... Okay. I was gonna say that's a driver who has his moments, but
his moments. No, he has his moments of the crash reel. Yes. Look, I've always said this, right? Tycho as a lad, get on with him. Seems like a very sound lad, but his incapability of making any safe moves on track is honestly astounding. I've been racing him for over a year now, and he is still making identical moves. He's finding the same walls he found in F1 22, and he doesn't learn it any time. I absolutely believe that Tycho could fight for the Div 2 championship. Absolutely believe. He's got so much pace, but just the incapability of staying there in a race distance. Practice a race. Just get off time trial. Just for one race. Honestly, round 1, just don't touch time trial. Maybe not round 1 actually, because we haven't got a full week. Round 2, don't touch time trial. Don't touch time trial. Just practice race. Guarantee top 5. Tycho probably could win the division, but he won't because he will be too busy nosing the walls. P1 I put Ransdale. Yeah, P1 I put Ransdale. Very good driver. Cannot wait to work alongside him. So, yeah, not much more to say. I think Ransdale's a very capable driver. Anything good. Constructors, what are you saying? Div 3. Because I know what you put and you know what I've put. It's not. Unless you're going to come through with a surprise. Williams.
Okay, no, okay, go on. Then you tell me what you think I put then. So since you're so confident, I actually don't know.
Well, I think you put Ferrari, no? I thought you put Ferrari.
Yeah, I have.
Well, I put McLaren, so there.
Yeah, well, listen. It's you could have been part of another great Div 3 constructors battle, but you decided to go to another team. So now you're gonna know what it's like to finish P2 again, and it's gonna be a long day for you. So
wait,
yeah.
Actually, I'm not gonna say that. Okay. I don't know. I mean, I struggled last season. Actually, me personally, in my heart, I reckon I can challenge for top 3 in the drivers. But I didn't put myself down because I think it's a bit unrealistic. I don't have the facilities to say that after quite a poor season last season. Finished 5th. Yeah, it's all right. I wasn't too happy.
Mixed bag.
I found
Mixed bag.
Mixed bag for sure. I was disappointed in myself. I wanted to give more to Ferrari, especially if it was going to be my last season. But I gave you a drivers and I gave you a constructors, so I mean, it makes me feel a bit better about myself. Yes, I think I found some great pace in the final few races. I'm sweating up for next season. I think even in my lowest points of, I'm just off the pace. The consistency was still there. You know what I mean? I was still showing my old traits of staying 100%. Where I was, doing the same lap again and again, not getting 3 seconds. With Ransdale being probably the favourite to win the championship, I think we've got the constructors in the bag. I don't deny that Ferrari will be an issue though. Absolutely. Like, I'm not looking forward to battling against Malachi. I really am not. The first time I have to battle against Malachi, I'm going to be really sad, I'll be honest. I really don't want to fight him. But hey, yeah, I think McLaren's got it in the bag. But I absolutely accept that Ferrari are going to be an issue. So,
I think that McLaren and McLaren are a very good lineup, and they're a very, very solid outfit together. I feel like the consistency of Ferrari is going to be a problem for most other teams. I think Malachi and Jamie's race pace, both of them have really, really solid race pace, and I feel that's going to be the mainest issue. And they're both team players. They're both going to play the right games and stuff. So it's going to be I'm looking forward. They're just going to be a really good unit together. I know you're selfish streak, Avi. I know Ransdale is going to be going for his own title as well. So I feel like if any of the 2 top teams in that division are going to have an inter-team rivalry, I think it might be McLaren over Ferrari as well. So I think maybe that might disrupt users as the season goes on.
I think that'll be the case in quite a few divisions, I will say. But yes, for sure. For sure, Division 3.
Not Div 4. Not Div 4 McLaren, definitely
not. Okay, so we move on to Division 2, your neck of the woods. This could be very interesting for me. P3.
This is where you insult me. This is the point where you started insulting me.
We can wait and see.
We'll see.
Because you went in my prediction. No, I wasn't in your prediction, so we can wait and see.
But for my P3 for Div 2, I've gone with Jojo. And the reason I've gone with Jojo is because I feel like, not that he was overshadowed by Mattia last season, but there's definitely an element of, he was given Mattia was given the preferential treatment. I feel like this season, having been the support driver last season, and being up there with Mattia most of the season, he's an absolutely rapid driver. He's more than capable of being up there at the front, both qualifying and in races. He's got a monster teammate coming in with Ronan, who's going to be right up there to be able to support him at all times. There's genuine ripples being made in the water at Red Bull, and in Dead Div 2 is looking very strong indeed. And I think Jojo's got more than enough pace to be up there. I think he's going to get the preferential treatment being the support driver last season from the team, more from Blake's side of things, of how he's going to run that. And I feel like, I really, really look forward to just seeing how that really comes together. I really, really do. But he's going to be up there for my top 3 for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I had Jojo written down, crossed out for Ronan. I almost want to go back on myself. It's so difficult to say who between those two is going to... I can't lie, I can't put both, can I? Because we're going to react to this and I need to get points. Jojo. Back Jojo. I obviously me and Ronan got good relationship. I engineered him in Ferrari. There's going to be an element of... There's actually 2 very interesting stories going on. We've got Jojo, who probably had the pace to win the championship last season, but joined late. Mattia was just on another level, and he couldn't... And maybe there was some team orders going on in there. It didn't look like it, but I mean, there could have definitely been team orders going on in there. That versus Ronan, who not only... he got his championship taken from him, as in he had a trophy in his back pocket. It's been taken by Mattia Mango, who's dipped up to the higher division. He's not going to be happy, and it's not like it's... And this with all due respect, it's not like he lost the championship. He wasn't even in the fight. he's not going to be happy. He's got the pace to fight for it this season. I know he had a weak start last season with disconnects, with this internet issues, with external issues. Now is his chance for redemption. I think him and Jojo are going to be deathly close. And I can't imagine, if it does come to the point where they're both fighting for the title, I can't imagine making any kind of second driver, first driver, any preferences. It's not going to be, because Ronan's not going to allow that. I don't know Jojo very well. Ronan's not going to want that. He wants his championship back, and you can tell he does. Jojo's got the pace to do it. So it's almost a recipe for disaster and for deliciousness for Red Bull going on there.
Yeah,
so,
I feel like
it
is going to be a challenge for Blake to manage that situation for sure. Because there's going to be two drivers there who both will be thinking it's their turn to be champion. So it's definitely going to be interesting. Anyway, tell me your P2 then.
Sure.
That's where I get interested.
So, wait, but P3 no chance. P3, yeah, fun now. I'm not going P3. P2. I have gone for Walter White.
Okay.
I've gone a lot of pace. In fact, he's probably on pace the quickest driver. There's the case for Ronan or Jojo. He's very quick. He missed half of last season, came back and just performed exactly how he did in season 2. Mercedes have got a gem in that Division 2 lineup. I think he's going to be very quick. I don't think it'll be quite enough, but I think it'll be quick. Not much more to say. What about yourself?
Okay. I picked a driver that I think, to be honest, probably could win it. I think there's even an element of we maybe even missed him as a move up. I think the Bird. I think the Bird's going to be.
Ooh.
I think he's.
I like an underdog story.
I think he's gone under the radar a wee bit. I think he's definitely a serious contender. He's some of his time trials are scary quick. I will say that for certain. And his quality pace can translate to that certainly, and he's been up there in the races and stuff like that. A few instances here and there, occasionally, but I mean it's league racing. There's always going to be some, but I feel like a little bit of with a good teammate. Hayes is a fantastic teammate. I definitely feel like that with Hayes as a teammate, Bird is going to be really kind of finding his feet a lot more this season. Going to have that support coming from behind and in front of the Hayes disrupting other drivers who are maybe bearing down on the Bird or Bird trying to catch up to. There's going to have that little bit of extra communication, a little bit of extra help. Definitely think going to be up there, and I think could win it as well, to be honest. But put them P2 for this time.
Fair. That's very, 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 very fair. P1.
After you, sir. After you.
Look,
because there's a name that hasn't been mentioned.
For those OGs, and this is an interesting one because I've mentioned neither McLarens or you or Casper, so we've got an interesting one here. For those of you who are OGs of the league and know where XRS stemmed from, look at you, bruv. It's like Abu Dhabi, Norris and Verstappen in final points, equal points. I just don't want to know. Yes, for those of you who are OGs of XRS and were here even before XRS in the league that it stemmed from, you saw what Ravenwood could do. In that division, he was disgracefully good. Come into XRS, and I think it's fair to say, and I don't know how you're going to take this, Division 1, in Season 1, I know there's a pace cap, but there was a lot of drivers that I think just kind of showed you up. They were just, like Reese, for example, was just a bit too quick. He was just too quick. Season 2 was when we opened the floodgates for Division X, and you disappeared. You got swallowed. I'll be honest, because I mean we brought in people like Teshubi, Jason Oe, Sleek. It's nothing against you. They are incredibly quick drivers. Took the season out for Season 3, come back for Season 4. I have put you P1, but it is a unconditional P1, and I'll tell you why. If Division 2 this is all based on round 1 qualifying. If you qualify in round 1 in the top 5, Division 2 have got a long day. Because you're going to walk that title. If they let you qualify in the top 5, it's a long season. Because if you let Raven West qualify in the top half, you might get away with it. If he's 8th, you might get away with it. Walter might challenge a fight. If you qualify in the top 5, it's a long day. Because the race pace from Raven versus quality pace, I've never seen something so on the other end of the scales. You know what I mean? It's actually ridiculous. So So if the weak side of your ability, which is quality based, I appreciate that's quite a big thing. But if it puts you P5, Division 2, goodness me, I've put Raven West P1. I have.
Interesting.
But what about yourself?
Well, first of all, I'm very glad to hear that. It's beautiful words have been spoken to my ear, which I really, really appreciate as always. I have backed myself for it. Reason being, I've started finding my pace in this game, and I didn't actually really want to. And there's people in that division who are quicker than me. Cyntium is quicker than me, outright pace. Kino is quicker than me, outright pace. Casper can be quicker than me, outright pace. He's done quality laps that I would never be able to replicate. Jojo's quicker than me. Walter / Alfonso quicker than me. Bird quicker than me. Hayes can quite often be quicker than me. I just feel like again consistency is going to be what stretches over 16 race calendar. I think if in
a very close division as well.
In a very close division, that division's going to be very, very close. It's going to be as much about who can avoid instances as well as it's going to be who can be quick. It's not going to be so much about who can be quick in both race or in quality. It's going to be who can survive in some cases, because there's going to be some cars. There's going to be times where cars will be thrown everywhere. And I think I seem to have a good knack at that. That's one of the things I seem to be quite well at doing, is avoiding collateral, being collateral or being caught up in stuff, or even just profiting off of other people, racing each other a bit too hard. It will be interesting to see. But if I can string it together, I think I could be up there. But I think I'm going to put a /Cyntium in there as well. I really think that man is finding his pace a lot more. He's been my teammate before in another league. He's a fantastic driver, good headspace on him, good demeanor, good manner about him, proper good driver. And I feel like he's been showing some early pace in what we call pre-season testing. He's found some early pace in that, and definitely a threat for next season is Cyntium as well. And with a great teammate in Skiz and a great team behind him, with being run by Mill, absolutely no reason in at all that he can't be fine up there at the front.
So you're putting yourself for Cyntium fourth then? Because I'm giving you points at the end of the season when we do the reactions.
Yeah, but I feel like it's Cyntium's going to rely on consistency. Cyntium, I think Cyntium might be the quickest driver in quality pace on that grid potentially. Him or the Bird.
Really?
Or in one lap pace. I think him or the Bird might be the two quickest.
Okay.
Ronan at some tracks. But I think Cyntium has an unfortunate knack of getting a 3 second. Cyntium has an unfortunate knack of sometimes being just caught up in the wrong thing, or being wrong place, wrong time. I think it's gonna. Honestly, I think if he can keep it between track limits, Cyntium's gonna be potentially first. But I'm gonna back myself for the championship this season, and then I'm gonna come fifth, like you did, and cry. So.
Yeah. In terms of honorable mentions, I've got Skiz and Cyntium written down. I mean, nothing to take away from those two. Obviously, they're the two that I'll probably be working alongside this season, as much as I can be. They could very, very, very easily been put in this top 3 list. I mean, it's literally, they're all in one. They're all P1, and it's just I had to build an order out of it. There's the argument for Skiz. He kind of dropped off the end of last season. Cyntium, he's kind of been on the up at the end of last season. So I'm excited to see what he can do in the new team. I think one point that I kind of stumbled across is that I don't think they like each other. I get along with them both, but let's not forget they were fighting each other for the title. They were actually main threats for each other until Mattia decided to become Verstappen and find this unbelievable pace. They'll be civil, I'm sure, but I don't think they like. I don't know what their relationship's like. They were against each other last season, so we'll see. I have dropped them to 4 and 5, but I think it's all going to be close. That top 5 is ridiculously close. So
for sure.
Yes, fair play.
For sure.
Constructors. Div 2 constructors. What are we saying?
I have gone for something that I'm quite confident in, and that is Red Bull. I think Red Bull have got an absolute monster lineup Div 2. I think they're going to be absolutely smashing it. There's absolutely no way in hell that they're not going to be in the top 3 at least. Red Bull are really cooking in general this season, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with them. But I think they're going to get the Div 2 title for sure. I've
I've backed it. Very, very good lineup. It'd be good to see them defend it. replacing a driver like Mattia and how strong he was in that division is a difficult thing. They've absolutely smashed it, bringing in a driver like Ronan, former champion. Who knows what he's doing? It's fair play. Cool. We move on to the final division, the Sunday division in Div 1, the fastest boys in the league.
The big boys.
Can I go first on my P3 actually, because it's a bit of a rogue one? Yes.
Go for it. Be my guest.
I will say, and this is a reoccurring thing I think you see with high divisions in any league, where to find a really fast driver who commits to a racing league, quite tricky sometimes, because they're obviously prioritizing the race sport and their this and their that. So there's a lot of fast drivers in this division, a really fast division, but to see them be quite fast and then commit to XRS to do the 16 races, or through 15 or 14, I can't convincingly say that some of the quick boys will do it. P3, I've actually gone for Mattia Manga. I think he's obviously committed to this league. I think he's got a lot of pace to show. I think he'll do all 16 races, and that's going to be a big changing point. I'm gone for Mattia.
Okay.
That's my dark horse for this division.
I like it. Picasso. I like it. It's gonna be it's gonna be very good. It's gonna be very good. Yes. Okay.
What about you?
Okay. I've gone for Sleek.
Fair.
I feel like it's gonna be a battle of the big boys this season. And I feel like Sleek is going in defending champion. I don't think he's gonna repeat it.
Yeah.
And I also don't think he's gonna be P2 either. I think the guy who he lost, who beat to the title last season, is gonna have something to say about the fact that he got beat for the title last season.
Yeah.
But I have gone for Sleek to still be in that top three positions and getting those vital extra bits of money for the team's budgets, and also for obviously again the season awards to be in the top three is always something. So, but yeah, I think Sleek's gonna be up there for sure.
Fair. I kind of want to switch my order now. I'm gonna tell you my P2 and my P1 together because they're kind of linked. Written down on my piece of paper, I've gone P2 Teshubi, P1 Sleek. I want to change that, and the reason I say that is because I went full strategy. If you haven't watched, if it's not out yet, or maybe it is and you haven't watched it, the predictions, we're going to react to these predictions at the end of the season, and you get a point for whether it's 1 within the position you say it is, and 2 if you get it spot on. And Teshubi is very, very quick, but I put him P2 because that means I get a point for if he finishes anywhere in the top 3. But I can't lie, I don't want to do this strategically. I want to say my actual predictions. I'm going to say Sleek P2, Teshubi P3, P1, sorry, because I think he has got the pace. He's not going to be happy that he's lost that championship. I think he was a favourite to be the first driver to get 2 championships, not only consecutively, but 2 championships at all, which no driver has done yet still. I think he's going to get it. I think it's going to be close, but I think he's going to get it. I've put Sleek P2. Maybe the V-Cub effect will strike again. We'll find out.
The V-Cub effect is wild, by the way. Okay.
The V-Cub curse.
For my P2, I've gone for Teshubi. I think he's going to push a new level, and he's going to find himself in, because I think Div 1's the quickest it's ever been before. And I think Teshubi's going to really have to push to kind of compensate for that. And I think we're going to see a new level from Teshubi. Unfortunately, I think that's still only going to be worth P2. I feel like a new level from Teshubi is still only going to be worth P2. I think it's going to be above Sleek, and I think it's going to be above all the people who he was racing last season. But there's an honourable mention in my top 3, to be honest. And the only reason I haven't put him in my top 3, and this is I'll do my honourable mention now before I put my P1 in there, is Dom, FGE Dom. Obviously a proven driver, very, very quick, up there with the pace. If he commits and he's there full time, he actually might jump ahead Sleek, to be honest. I can see Sleek finishing 5th next season, if I'm being fully honest, but there's names on that list that I can see potentially disrupting that rhythm. And if I could see Sleek being in P5 next season, to be honest. But I've gone for P3 for the fact he is obviously committed. He's been here for 2 seasons now, won the championship last season. That's no mean feat. So obviously here full time. Yeah. And I very much look forward to hopefully seeing that be amalgamated to a P3. But my P2, I have gone for Teshubi. I think he's gonna push himself up another level and just put himself just above all the drivers who were there previously. But I think I'm going to use this as a segue into my P1. I think a new driver coming in full time to the league made a slight appearance early on before, but I have gone for Elias to win it. He's found his all kind of pace back again that he's had. Anyone who knows his pace he had on 22 and 23, absolutely ridiculous. He's found a lot more pace this season. I've seen some of his time trials looking temps quicker than most people in Div 1 currently. Around most, if not all tracks. He's just come off the back of a championship in another league, which he won very early. I'm very much looking forward to seeing he's got momentum on his side. He's feeling good. He's racing good. He's looking good, and he's got my support behind him. And typically drivers do well. I also think Asteroid is going to be quite a good teammate to him. You saw that Sleek's championship that you cannot discredit Asteroid's contribution to Sleek's championship last season. In just what he did in terms of races, there's many races that he did make his own sacrifices or put on suboptimal strategies to also make other people's strategies suboptimal. So there's a huge factor in Sleek's championship as Asteroid, and I can see him do it again. He seems to be the badass of Div 1 at the moment, and that's only a compliment. Because I think it's been shown with look at Red Bull in real life situation, but you look at Red Bull with their second teammate, they've never McLaren even right now with the situation they're going on. Being a Bottas is not an easy feat. It's to be that super teammate, because there's times where the team to win a driver's championship will need the second driver to be playing for the other driver's championship, and Asteroid's done that before, and he did it exceptionally well at Haas, and I feel like unless he finds his own feet and his own pace and is up there with him racing for the championship himself, he's going to be a fantastic second driver. I feel like it's going to be a really, really solid foundation in that team. I just think Elias is going to do it. I think the Bahraini bullet is fully back, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
I'll say a fun fact. I had your top 3 written down in the exact order, and the reason I've gone against it is because, as I said, I can't convincingly in my head say these guys are going to stay. I mean, I don't doubt Elias's loyalty to Ferrari now, but I can't logically say these quick drivers are going to stay. I've written down as well Dom and Snipes as well in Mercedes. I'll be honest, if everyone who's on that list races full-time season, Matea's finishing 6th. Because that 5, Tashubi, Sleek, Dom, Snipes and Elias, another level.
And Neb.
And I'd argue Neb as well, actually. I say Neb as well, actually, yeah, Neb. I mean, there's ICU on his day and AMS Smithy on his day, but I say
Lopez on his day as well.
People on that day, fair enough, but I think that big 6 are going to be there all the time. But I can't logically say, I haven't seen enough from Dom, Snipes, and of course Elias to say they're going to stay from round 1 to round 16 and consistently be pushing for this league, which is why I've brought Matea up into that P3, which is no mean feat. It's nothing. No, I mean, getting moved up and then being top 3 is crazy from Matea, especially Div 1. So, but that's why I've moved Elias amongst those other 2 out of my top 3. I'd gladly be proven wrong. He comes into the league, wins by years in round 1, and stays to the end. I could absolutely do that. And that leads me on to a quite nice segue onto my Constructors' Championship. I'll be honest, like I said, if all these drivers stay where they are, they all do the entire season. And I've seen Elias's pace. All Asteroid needs to do is stay consistent, finish top 8 every race, Ferrari win it. But again, I haven't seen enough to say Elias is going to stay in the seat and consistently driving in this league, which is why I've gone McLaren, because Teshubi and Revrov will. So that's why I've leant towards McLaren. But, like I said, if Elias stays, I think Ferrari will do it. But I've put McLaren.
Fair enough. Well, I think Elias is staying, so I'm putting him.
Oh yeah, was that? Of course, yeah. You have inside information that I don't, of course, but. Yes, of course, yeah, that's fair.
Elias is very excited to race full time here. He's been looking forward to a lot. He's given up what was his main league for a while to race here, so he has made a big commitment to do it. So I think there's commitment being shown already. He's looking forward to it. For certain, I'm certain that it's going to be a good season.
Love it. Yeah.
He's locked in.
Gonna be very close.
He's locked in.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to Prime Elias return. Actually, am I looking forward to it? No, I'm not. I mean, Ferrari. I'm not looking forward to Elias Prime return. That's not good. Right. We move on to the very interesting part, which is the OCC. We go from 10th to 1st. We talk about every single team and what we think about it. We're going to start from presumably the bottom, unless you want to start from the top like a weirdo.
We'll start from the bottom. We'll start from the bottom. I will go first.
Good.
I'll go first.
Okay. So take this one, my friend.
For P10,
it's so hard, isn't it? Because
it is. It is. But I've gone for Aston Martin. And it is, as you go about to say, it is so hard to put someone last. Someone has to come last, unfortunately. But I feel like I'm just not that excited by the Aston Martin lineup, to be honest. I mean, there's a lot of talent in there, but there's also a lot of, I don't know, not mid-level drivers, but midfield drivers. You know what I mean? And there's definitely some quick boys in there who are capable of winning races, races or getting results week in, week out. Maybe not so much. It's just a couple of one-hit wonders, really, in that lineup, to be honest. There's a couple of gambles as well with a couple of different drivers. It's going to be interesting to see how it works out and lines up in the end. But sure, we'll see how it works out. But I feel like if any team, and the level every season gets harder and harder and harder and harder. So it's not even like it's a disrespect to Aston to say that like they're coming 10th in an easy championship. It's a very difficult thing to come 9th in this championship right now. So I think unfortunately they're going to be the ones to just miss out and come out and compete 10th.
I have to agree with you. It's a tricky scenario here to sit and talk about, because obviously we've been talking so positively about drivers and top threes and stuff like that, talking about who's going to win the trophies. We're now talking about who's just not going to be. Aston had a glimpse of hope under Cajun's leadership at the start of season 3, which died off just so quickly, and obviously he ended up leaving that team. Fair bit to Reese. I mean, it's not a disrespect to Reese and his ability to be a TP, in the sense that obviously he's been left with a team that's just not in a fighting shape. He's been left with something that he needs to fix. The Aston lineup is not very exciting. I mean, the one driver I'm actually really interested in about seeing is FIFA's in Div 2. I think he's going to be quite good in that division, but similarly, quite good is not going to be winning races. Aston's lineup is quite weak. I'm going to say P10, and it's upsetting because, again, like so recently, we've seen a glimpse of hope in that team that's been consistently at the back. I mean, if you want to talk of positions, Aston Martin finished 9th in season 1, 9th in season 2. 7th in season 3, but to be fair, they were 2nd at one point, and we're saying 10th. So, unfortunate. I'm going to say 10th as well. Yeah.
Right, give me your P9. Give me your P9. We'll get away from the depressing stuff. Give me your P9.
It doesn't get much better. P9 is one of the most underwhelming lineups I've seen, and it's again nothing against the team principal, but they've been left with such an open canvas. They've had to paint it all from the beginning. I've gone with an OCC champion. I've gone Haas, P9.
Ooh.
Okay. Again, like, as someone who obviously goes through the TP interviews, who assigns TPs and has a big vote in it, Tiger is a very, very exciting prospect as a TP. But you can be a very good, exciting prospect as a TP, but still have to start the canvas from blank. When Asteroid left, yes, fine, Haas have been historically quite competitive, but there was nothing left. He had to rebuild that team from the ground pretty much. Nothing against Asteroid, he just decided to leave at the point where everyone's contract ran out. Looking at Haas, historically, P5 in season 1, P1 in season 2, P3 in season 3. I think they're going to finish P9. It's a weak lineup. I mean, you've got Liam, which is quite an interesting driver in Division 3. You've got CGM, which could be an interesting one in Division 2. That's kind of where the exciting thing. I mean, I guess also Tiger in Division 4. I think that's where everything stops. I'm going to say Haas. It's really upsetting because they won an OCC, you know, and to say P9 is nuts. But yeah, go on. How about you?
I've gone Sauber for my P9. I feel like there's some drivers in there who are going to really elevate that team and could potentially push to up them into P7 and P8. But I feel like Dodo's up there, FaZe Dom's up there, both Ziagli and Power, both fantastic drivers in their day. I feel like the bottom half might let them down a wee bit, and I feel like consistency might let them down a wee bit. I don't see consistency really anywhere in that team, and I don't really the ones who that's the ones we do know. There's also a lot of gambles in that team with new drivers and unknown variables. They could end up being second by the end of the season with some of those gambles if they work out. But I think it's just too many. Too many hands there that are relying on double aces to pull through for them to really be fighting in the top half of the season. Yeah, Sauber for me.
I do think it's definitely worthy. It's definitely worthy to say, like, the standard of line. I say this every single season. The standard of lineup in season 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just the lineups that you've got to have such a strong lineup just to finish top 5 at this point. Like the OC, it is generally the most competitive thing, the OCC, where everyone is so close in terms of lineup. Like watching when everyone's on 0 points, it's so difficult to make a line and to make a prediction for this.
I actually want
P8.
to make a change. I'm going to make a change because you've done all this the entire way through this video, so I'm going to make a change.
Okay.
I'm actually not going to put Sauber. I'm going to put Sauber 8, and who I put 8 initially, and I've just re-looked at it now. I feel okay. Here's why I changed. I feel like Dodo can win races. I feel like Dom can win races. I feel like Pau and Zaghi could both win races. I think Sauber's top half are maybe better than I was giving them credit for.
Yes.
Yes. I think the team that are suffering similar problems with gambles and weak links. The only thing is, I don't think their strong drivers are as good as Sauber's strong drivers. I think Williams might actually be the one to come 9, and Sauber might take P8 and fight for P7. And that's and I feel like that's I feel like that could be a situation that comes in there. I understand your thing with Haas, but I've got Haas slightly higher up. But yeah, no, I feel like it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be for me. Okay, Williams P9 and Sauber P8. That's what I'm gonna go for.
I've done that's very interesting. So I've gone obviously Aston, then Haas. I've got Williams P8, Sauber P7.
Okay.
I think so. I've a little bit up from you, and so I've obviously plunked Haas down there. Talk about Sauber first. Sauber's highs are high. Sauber's lows are low.
Yeah.
And it's so Zalagi and Big Pau, solid Div 1. Tim and Dom, solid Div 3. Dodo could be alright. A lot of reserves coming in, a lot of 30mm drivers. The rest of it's just okay. I can't logically say there's anything higher than 7th, I don't think.
Yeah,
I think they will be fighting Williams and Haas, I think, for sure, for the battle for P7. And maybe Aston as well, but I think Aston are a little bit behind. In terms of Williams, kind of a similar thing. I mean, I think Williams are a bit more all-rounded. They've got Mel and Nicholas in Div 4. They've got Amos Foxes in Div 3, which I think could be probably their star driver. Gone to the Moon, pretty solid in Div 2. We've got, obviously, Smithy in Div 1, but he doesn't always show up. The highs aren't quite as high, the lows aren't quite as low, so I'm going to say they're just a bit lower. But I think that's going to be a good scrap between those two. What about you?
Fair enough. For my P7, I've gone for Haas. I think they've got a slightly better lineup than maybe you're giving credit for. There's definitely some weak links. in there. Don't get it twisted. There's definitely some weak links. But I think Glass is going to do really well in that division. He's going to be a big point source. I think Adam can be consistent enough to get points regularly. I think Wizzy Boy is just a driver who's dedicated to racing and will turn up, and he'll turn up. He's one who will turn up every week, and he will race every week, and he will get points every week. And I feel like Pandas can do a lot. A Riot Panda can do a lot in that Div 1 division. I think maybe not giving credit. I think he's on pace with Neb in other leagues. So there could be something there. Really, looking at Neb, even valued as an 88 million driver, and Panda races him in a lot of leagues. So I think Panda could do a lot more. That's why he has to go up. So, and Tiger as well in Div 4 is going to be a very interesting one. There's just Liam, if he can find his old self, could definitely be a fantastic driver in that division. Yeah, and again, Tycho Tycho's a Da Vinci Code to crack in terms of problems, but there's such a driver there under all those problems they can be ironed out. So I feel like Haas are going to be able to.
Sure.
I think it's going to be a fight for P7. There's always in the season. There's always segmented fights that break out throughout the season. I feel like there's going to be a fight for P7, and I feel like Haas might just win it. I think it's going to be Haas, Sauber, Williams in that fight for P7.
So we've agreed on the bottom 4. I think we can both agree that the gap between the 7th and the 6th team is quite big.
I feel like that's going to be where the first break in terms of set P7 is going to be one of the positions that teams are going to end up fighting for. By mid-season, teams are going to be kind of saying, all right, we're fighting for this position, fighting for this position. I feel like P7 is going to be one of those positions that is kind of those cut-offs for our team and go, right, this is what we need to do. We need to win this battle for this position to then break into the next group. So I feel like P7 is going to be one. But I agree, P6 is going to be whoever finishes P6 is going to feel like they came bottom of the pack they were fighting for. Toward the end of the season, whoever team was P6 weren't looking behind them for towards the end of the season, I reckon. Who have you gone?
I agree with you there. I think. I do agree that it was difficult making a list for 7th to 10th. It's been incredibly difficult to decide 3rd to 6th, and I beg don't take it personally, because obviously the idea of in a 10-team fight, the difference between finishing third and sixth is big. But honestly, these 4 teams are just so close. I just don't know. And I think we've all got our different opinions on it. P6. I still don't know. I've written down Mercedes. Okay. I have. I'll be perfectly honest with you. Originally, I had them written down third, and I've just kind of shuffled things. I've tried to compare lineup. I back them. I really do. They've got Lopez and Snipes. If Lopez sorts out his PC, unreal. Walter's going to be big name in Div 2. They've got Mosmigas and a Silent Pistol. I know what Silent Pistol can do from other leagues, and obviously Mosmigas as consistently as he is. Cristela, probably the quickest in Division 4. Kiernan's generally a regular pillar for consistency. And then Michael and Pistol Pia, again, I think it's the best Div 5 lineup if they can unlock that pace. I think Mercedes could be really good. It's so close. After saying that, I can't put the P6 on. I don't know. Yeah, 6th. I think 6th. It's just so close. I'm gonna say 6th. But they could finish third. They could actually finish third. Go on, you 6th. What are we saying? I'm gonna guess you're not gonna put Mercedes, or maybe you have. I don't know.
So I see the next fight. You said interestingly you said the fight is to P3. I think the fight's to P4. I think this next pack is fight.
So you think one breaks away?
I think there's a top 3 next season. And I think 4, 5, 6 are going to be teams that are really like snapping each other and really fighting each other on track the most. I think Mercedes is also 6. I feel like here's what I feel. I feel like Snipes and Lopez, maybe like if they can get it sorted, they're going to be fine. They're going to be a good lineup. I don't know Snipes' consistency yet, and Lopez, I've raced him before. He can be a very, very solid driver. I don't see him necessarily winning the races a lot. But if he can find pace that he freakily had before, where he was the only one racing Tano and Elias, if anyone remembers those days way back in previous league days, I don't know. Alonso is probably one of their best drivers. Skippy, I think, is kind of inconsistent. I'd want to see more from him. Silent Pistol, I want to see more from him. Moss Megan, I want to see more from him, from winning a Div 2 title to where he is now. Winning to a Div 2 Constructors title, most of the point, I should say. And he missed like 3 rounds at the end anyway as well, so he still finished like third. Cristela, unknown if she'll turn up every time. 5Y seems to have some sort of kind of issues that are kind of deep rooted, it seems. So there's a lot of development there to get out of them, and yeah, Pistol Peter. We all know what happens there. So I feel like they're gonna maybe trip over themselves more than anything else and finish 6th. But I think a very good lineup that they have, and I feel like they to finish 6th in this championship is very, very, very impressive.
Yeah. I mean, so historically for Mercedes finished 7th and then 7th, and then last season finished 5th after a very weak first half. As in first half they were running, I think, in like 9th and 8th. They had a fantastic second half and they brought it back, beat VCARB, which is not an easy feat. VCARB is a solid team. I don't want Mercedes to come back in this and look at this video and think, oh, they're rating us low. They think they're going to get worse. This is the best Mercedes we've seen so far. This is absolutely the best Mercedes we've seen so far. I know the number's bigger. Like, getting 6th when you finished 5th last season is not... It leaves a bad taste in the mouth.
Yeah.
But it's a good lineup, and the standards are just going up. I don't want them to be disappointed on a P6 because that is good. That is still good. I know it's the back of what we think the train's going to be, but they've got a good lineup. I just don't think they can quite match the guys ahead. Quite. But I think it's close.
Fair enough.
The disappointment shouldn't be there. Even though even though you're hypothetically going down a position, I don't think the disappointment should be there, personally.
Yeah, completely agree. Right, P5. I'll go. Go on. What are you going to say?
We've gone very similar so far, actually, haven't we? Besides Haas, we've gone the same, actually. This is interesting. Wow, okay. Go on, P5.
P5, I think I know what you put, and I think I might put something different. I've gone for VCOP in P5.
Okay.
I think there's some good drivers in there. I just think it's VCOP, and they'll find a way to always finish 4th or 5th.
They finished 6th last season, so.
Well, yeah, true, but I feel like they will push up another level. They've got some big names coming in. They've got some problems to iron out, but I feel like they definitely have the capability of being a being a top 5 team again. I think they'll be one to finish 5th.
P5 Red Bull. Yeah. Now, so can I not change it or what?
No, I want you to keep that. Even the fact that you even wrote that down at any point, even as a brainstorm, I want you to keep, because you deserve to not lose points, because that's ridiculous.
I can't like bun you.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
I've heard your points, but I haven't been I've been focusing on what I think the lineup was. I want to change. I want to put VCarb 5 and then Red Bull 4. I don't know whether you put that. I don't know if you've put Red Bull in 4. I'm going to put VCarb 5. The way I try to guess this OCC, because they're so close together, is I compared each lineup in each division and stuff like that. And I don't know. I actually don't know, because you've got, I think both teams have their weak side. I think VCarb's weakest division is probably 2. Red Bull's is probably 5. And then they've all got just solid lineups. And I appreciate Red Bull, and they've kind of been listed, I think, as like almost like the Ferrari and McLaren retirement home, in the sense that like they've got Ronan, they've got Neb, they've got Mateo, they've got Blake, they've got Melvin now. These are all very consistent drivers. These are all very solid drivers. Blake's done very well in this transfer window, bringing in the old icons, I guess you can call them. One of the divisions I'm really interested in, I do want to give them a bit of airtime, I guess. I do want to talk about the Division 5. As I said, probably the weakest in terms of actual ability, Boltstinger and Brewdog. But I think there's a lot of potential in both of them. Especially with Brewdog, we've seen at the start of his kind of XRS time, he was finishing at the back. He started breaking into the top 10 now in qualifyings. He's been finishing in the top 10. He's been getting some solid points. Boltstinger, pretty similar. I think he's got more fundamental issues, with contacts and with spatial awareness, which can be ironed out. I'm very interested to see, especially with Neb and Ronan, who've come straight from Ferrari, to go across to Red Bull, as well as Blake, who's the team principal. What's the development like in Red Bull? Because the top teams, it's about having a good lineup. It's also about having good development, about bringing up the next, creating loyalties and having the next level of drivers, the next drivers coming up. I think there's a lot of potential in that Div 5 lineup. I don't think they're going to win it, fine. But I'm interested to see what kind of knowledge that these ex-Ferrari, ex-McLaren drivers can put on Bolt and Brewdog, who I think could potentially be solid drivers in that division late stage. That's why I've put Red Bull P5, because I do think at this stage they're a little bit behind. But you just can't trust VCarb. Yeah, I'll stick with what I've got. I'll go Red Bull P5, VCarb P4, because I love a bit of a weird one. You know what I mean? Just throw a spanner in the works. So I'll stick with what I've got. I'll stick with my gut.
I personally think that was a bad call, personally, but
I'm backing. I've insulted VCarb enough. You know what I mean? I got to back them where credit is due. Their lineup's better than I expected it to be. I thought it'd be worse. I think you could probably say the same thing as well. I think we expected it to be worse.
Yeah, fair enough. But what's interesting is for my P4 spot, I've gone for Alpine.
I thought you were going to say that when you were surprised when I put Red Bull. I think, yeah, okay.
I think.
Oh, I want to. I cannot do those 3, man. It's so close. It's going to be such a good season.
Alpine are really going to break through. They're going to rocket up the championship all of the season. They've completely turned their lineup around. Snowy's been cooking phenomenal stuff. Yeah, it's going to be really good. I think they've got a solid driver in every division. We've mentioned 2 of their drivers in these discussions and stuff. I think they're really going to be a solid team. Yeah, I think they're going to be. Yeah. I think the 6 to 4 pack is the next pack, and I feel like Alpine are going to come top of it.
So you think Red Bull are going to? Oh, as a guessing, Red Bull you put P3. You think they're going to run away with it? And they're going to push away from the pack.
You know what? We'll go into P3. I think Red Bull not only are going to break away from that pack, I think they're going to push into the teams above. I think Red Bull. I think Red Bull can potentially. I think Red Bull could potentially challenge McLaren a wee bit this season. I think they're going to have to. McLaren are going to have to look in 2 different directions this season, where they didn't have to last season. And I feel like it's going to be. I just feel like the Red Bull have really got some solid foundations now laid over the last few seasons. They've been going up the order steadily. 6, 4, 6, 5, 4, something like that. You know what I mean? Or something like that. They've done really well. You'll probably have to
6, 8, 4.
A6, A4K yesterday, had a dip, and then they've recovered it properly and they're back up. So I feel like they're gonna. I feel like they've got the foundations now to break into that next half, and then who knows what Blake can do at mid-season, because I guarantee one of those drivers in the divisions where they're weaker are going to fall out of love with their team, and there's going to be a big name to pick up in the mid-season window. And I think Red Bull, if any team that look like they're picking up the drivers that don't fit into the big drivers that don't fit into the big teams, I think Red Bull's the team to be snatching them up right now. So I'm very exciting stuff going on there. Very exciting stuff going on there. I think they're going to really break into that top three.
I'll stick with what I've got, so I'm not impacted by what you said. I'll keep to what I've put. I have put in that order: Mercedes, Red Bull, VCarb, Alpine P3, and I cannot it could literally be on its head. I think we both agreed the Mercedes might drop off at the back. Red Bull have got terrific names in that lineup. They've got really big names in that lineup. A couple of champions as well. VCarb, I think, they'll surprise me this window. I was expecting something worse. They've come out with a good few names. Sleek Mover was probably the biggest signing this window, I think, in terms of shock. I mean, I was shocked when it got sent to me. I was guaranteed he was going Alpine, and he's come through Red Bull VCarb, which is not only another team, it's a rival team. You know, he's going to be racing physically against Snowy. I'll back what I said. I think they've got a very good Div 5 lineup as well, VCarb. Alamata has been constantly, since Season 1, up at the front. Kevin, I know a bit of him, but I know he came in Bahrain last season and he showed his ability. He was very good when he was for Ferrari. I'll back what I said. I think Alpine will get ahead. I back their development programs. This is also kind of riding on the fact that Peekaboo doesn't get moved up, because I think he's going to be a kind of a star man in that team.
Yeah.
I think they've got a couple of names, again, going underneath the window. I think it's fair to say that none of their drivers are particularly, other than Snowy, vocal in general chats. They're generally, I mean, maybe Calic, I suppose, but they're all quite quiet, which I think kind of overshadows their actual ability. Hayes has been an issue to me in other leagues, but of course we talked about he's been very quick. Dom is arguably the quickest driver in the league. I think, I guess Elias is obviously going to come through and come through and just chuck everyone out into the bin. But Dom, if he stays the season, he's going to be really good. Yeah. Snowy, of course, we know what Snowy can do. We've got drivers like Vaxi we've discussed. We've got Morley, who I've discussed as probably one of the best drivers in Div 3 we've seen in a long time. I'm hearing good things from Panda. I think that Alpine are going to surprise you as well. I think that because they're not quite vocal in general chats, people are kind of pushing them aside to Red Bull and VCarb, who probably like your 4 and 5. I think Alpine are going to shock a couple of people. I think they've got a good lineup. I do. So that is my. But I cannot stress enough. This everywhere is so close. I cannot wait for the season to get on track. This is going to be so exciting. I can't wait for the rivalries to be formed, because this is where we're really building up to teams building their legacy. We're in Season 4 now, so it's going to be good.
Absolutely.
Top 2, we've definitely disagreed. We've just so definitely disagreed. I'm ready for a fight here. Go on. Go on, do it. Poke the bear, mate.
You put Ferrari 2, McLaren 1. Let me guess, you've done that, yeah?
Yep.
Right, well, so let's have an argument then.
Right, let's go.
So okay, here's why. Hold on. Here's why. Elias is going to blow the water. We're added to Shuby, and I'm sorry that's going to happen. It's going to be a great season. Me and Casper are gonna be able to. I think I can take Syntium, and I think Casper can take Skiz. I think Malachi could take you. I think Jamie could take Ransdale. I feel like Div 4, you guys are going to beat us outright. And I feel like Div 5 is going to be. I feel like Div 5 is going to be ours again. I feel like Throne Globe isn't going to find anything else he didn't have before. I feel like Jace is going to settle into a decent rhythm and be in the top 3. But I feel like Walker and Brown are potentially going to be 1 and 2 coming into the season. I think that the boys, the way the foundations we've got laid down at the moment, I think there's potentially some more problems in that McLaren team. With a few maybe personality clashes, maybe a few disagreements. I think there's some slightly more hot-headedness in that team as well. I feel like I'm looking forward to the fight, very much so. But I've come second now twice in 2 constructors in a row. I don't plan to do it again, so I very much would like to push forward and go for that top spot this season. So I think that the lineup's good enough to do it. I feel like I'm prepared for a season that is required for the effort to put into a season to win it. So I know Mill is. So it's going to be really good. It's going to be really good. But yeah, McLaren are going to be second.
Go on. As someone who's been, I think the only driver in XRS who's been in kind of like the prime, I know I haven't raced it yet, but the prime Millard McLaren and then obviously the prime Raven Ferrari. I don't think people realise how nuts this OCC fight's going to be. I know you've spoken about how you think Red Bull might knock on the door. Alpine have been talked about being knocking on the door. I think McLaren and Ferrari are looking mean this season. I think they're going to run away. This is the first time in an OCC. Season 1 and 2, I guess there's Haas, but it's fair to say that Ferrari was better than McLaren from day one. McLaren, I think they looked better than Ferrari at the start of Season 3, and then Ferrari obviously brought it back and had an incredible redemption. This is the first time what I generally believe they're both starting with a very, very strong lineup. They both have their weak points. They both have their strong points. I think it's fair to say. This is a very difficult thing to say because, first of all, before I go into any mean things, I love every Ferrari driver. I'm not too close with Elias, but I respect him a lot. The rest of them, they're all my boys. Every single person in that Ferrari seat, they're my boys. And I've worked alongside them, and I really like them. And we're friends in this league racing scene. It's gonna be hard to say that we're gonna beat you next season, or to say that we're gonna beat you. But I bear in mind that again, I don't know how committed Elias is. Assuming he stays the season, all Asteroid needs to do is be decent, and I think they'll win that Constructors. I don't think that Rev Rob and Teshubi will give it away too easily, though. I think the fight will still be there. Div 2, Casper has his inconsistencies. He's not been on top form since Season 1, I would argue. I think Skiz and Cintium, they're both mean. They've both lost out on a championship last season. Fair enough. I think that their heads may clash. There's a potential there. But I think working together, they're two drivers who've had championships just nabbed at the very end. I back myself to beat Malachi. I back Ransdorf to beat Jamie. Exact opposite of what you said. It's good. Like it's two very, very equal lineups. I think it's fair to say, both with their benefits. I'll tell you what, actually. I think Ransdale matches Jamie's quali pace. I think mine and Malachi's quali pace kind of match each other a bit, kind of in the middle. But then us four have got incredible race pace, which I think is going to be the real standout. I can't imagine. I think there'll be a few times this season where it's going to be Ferrari, McLaren. The top four will be us four fighting. I think it's going to be good, which is what we saw in Division 2 actually a couple of times with some of the teams going 2x2.
For sure.
I love Fletcher, I love Bays. Div 4, I think McLaren will be him. I think that's relatively comfortable.
I think I agree.
Div 5, it's going to be Div 5, it's going to be a consistency game. I think Throne Globe and Jace could, but Walker and Brownist are at this stage better drivers. I think they're not gonna get as many penalty points. They're not gonna get into as many issues. They are constructors winners for a reason. That's going to be the challenge. That might be the turning point, because the reason McLaren nearly lost the OCC last season was an incredibly weak Division 5. Finally, they've got a solid Division 5, but it doesn't mean a solid Division 5 means they're going to win the OCC. It doesn't, absolutely. They're still against Walker and Brownist, the best Div 5 lineup we've ever had in XRS. It's not going to be easy. They're going to have to bring something big, especially Throne Globe, who now has this vengeance of, again, another championship nabbed off him right at the end. I think McLaren edge it, only just. It's going to be close. It's going to be real close.
I think if you look at the momentum from last season, look what happened in Season 2, where Haas carried the momentum from Season 1 into the next season and just ran away with it, and then never really. And then again, they got pressure was put back on them and never really got caught again. I think the momentum that Ferrari have coming from the end of Season 3, going into Season 4, is really going to be the difference. And then, yeah, I feel like it's just going to be, and then it's going to be from strength to strength for the team. I feel like it's going to be close though, and it is going to be either orange or red this season again. I look forward to when other teams start breaking through, but right now it is them two. And I guess I gotta back myself and my boys. It's natural that you're going to back your boys. I'm looking forward to when we reconvene at the end of the season. We'll see who was cooking and who wasn't. But imagine
we say all this and then like Red Bull wins the OCC. Like I don't know where they just come through and cook. Obviously you've talked about the momentum and stuff like that. I would argue against your case that I think Ferrari will start the season strong, same foot as they left last season, which was probably the best team. They were catching McLaren very quickly. I will counter that argument and say the McLaren's team has changed a lot. It's not about momentum, it's about bringing in a whole new lineup. There is no momentum to carry anyway because they've got a lot of new drivers. I can't imagine that work against them. I think
I feel like that in itself
Yes,
is a
yeah,
struggle.
exactly.
Because there's no momentum. There's no momentum. McLaren have the momentum. There are only 3 drivers have come in.
You're spot on, yeah. I think it's going to take a second. I wouldn't be surprised if Ferrari lead it off round 1, because they have got that chemistry within each other, they've got that momentum, and they know how to work together. McLaren have the job of now teaching how many people? 6 drivers. 6 drivers, and actually, funny enough, both Division 3, 4, and 5 lineups. So 3 out of 5 lineups are fresh. They don't know how McLaren works, they don't know how they operate. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ferrari lead it off round 1. That's not to take away the McLaren's lineup. I think it's very strong. So I think that the fight will stay where it is. But you're spot on with the momentum point. Yeah, I think the Ferrari will take off quite quickly.
And I feel like as well, even
after round 1, Red Bull wins it.
Even yeah, absolutely. But one final point on the momentum thing is like the only real weak point in the team last season was the Div 1, and it wasn't even a weak point because of pace. It was a weak point because of availability. They obviously are both
in Ferrari.
Yeah, in Ferrari. So they brought 2 drivers in who, one is very committed to the league, will be here full time. Another one who I have no doubt will be settling in. He's settled into his XRS as his new main league, which is fantastic news and very exciting in itself. All the other drivers, more or less, apart from a driver who had to be replaced, which is yourself, who decided he wanted to move on. Every other driver has been here for now at least a season. They know how it works, they know how it functions. The team's gone from a new strength. The 3 drivers come in, have injected the new lease of life into the team, but the momentum that's been carried from last season and stuff, and it's only going to just roll into the next one. So I think it's going to be, I feel like almost it's going to be the opposite of what it was last season, where I think we're going to get maybe a good lead and then just hold on to it from there and defend the lead more than we were catching a lead last time.
Okay.
So it's going to be interesting.
I agree with that, actually. Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Ferrari take off quickly and then defend more than chasing, which is what they did a lot last season and season 2, I'd argue as well, actually. Oh, crazy! I haven't actually got one, but we're generally at the end of a prediction, we do a crazy prediction. Have you got one for me?
I have actually got one. I have got one, and I like it a lot in the sense of it also aligns with the predictions we've just made. I think once again for the 4th season in a row, there will be no repeat driver champions in XRS.
Ooh.
I feel like every driver who wins the title won't have won one before. And I think the only person who I think could potentially break that is Walker. I genuinely hand on heart think the only person who's going to disrupt that is Walker.
I mean,
I think yes, Tashubi's going to be up there. Yes, Lee's going to be up there. Yes, Jamie and you and Malachi are all going to be looking to fight up there. Yes, Casper and Glass and Ronan are all going to be wanting to fight up there. I know Blake's going to be wanting to be up there. But I think if you actually look at who the big names are in terms of pace and consistency in those divisions right now, I think we can see another 5 set of fresh champions, never to have repeat them again. I think again we're going to have no repeat champions. That's my prediction. That's my crazy prediction.
That would be incredible. 4 seasons. So that's 5 out of 5. Then we had obviously only 4 divisions in season 1 and 2. So that would be 18. 5, 5, 4, 4. 18 different drivers of the championship, no repeats. That could definitely be the case. I haven't got a crazy prediction for you, but that could definitely be the case. I'll come up with a crazy prediction. I reckon that every single division. It's difficult. Now, every single division will be winnable by 2 drivers in the final round. 16 races, I reckon there'll be at least 2 in the fight, within points.
Interesting. Yeah.
Well, thank you much, everybody, for joining us in this predictions. We are approaching the most competitive season of the 4 we've now had. The hype is there in chat. I'm hearing chants in the general chat, in the general VC. Rivalries are being formed. I'm here for it in the podcast. I will be back for the podcast as much as I can because I'm very excited to see what is stemmed, all the drama that started. Who's going to win the championship? We genuinely do not know. Put your predictions down in the chat. Any last words from you, Raven?
Thank you for all that signed up. Thank you for all that are watching. Thank you for all that are members, commentators, stewards, streamers, graphic designers, anything in between.
Yeah.
You are what makes us all wonderful. Best of luck to everyone. Prove the ones who we put quite low, prove us wrong. The ones we put quite high, prove us right. I'm very much looking forward to see you all on track, watching your races. Yeah, it's gonna be something juicy. Best of luck. Thank you,
It's gonna be
everyone. And yeah, let's just have some fun. That's the main thing. Let's have some fun.
See you in round 1, boys. We're going to Monaco.
This guy.